This is likely going to be a long and a very heavy video. Jacob, who is the chairman of the board, called me today and said that the board has finally made a decision about filing for bankruptcy for Café Retro. And yeah, this might be a serious shocker to many of you who thinks that things has been going better or well, or I don't know. Things has been very difficult for a long time now at Retro, and it's actually been so before I started. Uh, for what I've been told, back in 2013, things starting to go bad economically. There was no longer a big profit, a big annual score that we could send down to Sierra Leone and support the projects. This was then a couple of times disclosed by the board or the former board back then that things were going bad, and people tried to make it good and try to salvage the situation, try to crowdfund money and bring more effort into saving Retro. And yeah, that was definitely something that was a lot of energy put into, and I think a few months later, people felt that it was good again. But the reality is that it wasn't. Things were still going bad. They were going better, but they were still going bad. Now, back in 2 years later from that, in 2015, the year before I started, um, to my knowledge, there was a volunteer that was very destructive for the, or maybe it's the beginning of 2016. Anyway, so before I started, there was a volunteer that was very destructive for the atmosphere at Retro. Really not helping in creating more economic success for Retro's endeavor. Now, um, so I had to start on the back of of that in the summer 2016. Little less than a year ago. In the 1st of August, I started. It was actually about this time right now that I sent in my job application for Retro and got called in for an interview, and I was very, very happy about that. And I still am. I'm still so joyful about being part of Retro. Um, but it seems like the road it ends here. And yeah, I know that a lot of you maybe feel that you didn't get the information and that you weren't told that things were going bad, and that is partly true. Um, but it's not easy to convey that kind of information, especially if you don't have the right information. We knew that it was going bad, or I knew a little bit of how it was going bad. Some parts of the board knew that it was going bad, but people didn't specifically know how bad. They didn't know the exact numbers because before I started, we had a new accountant trying to make better of the economy, and then after that she left, and then there was 2 months with no accountant, and suddenly the whole financial budget situation was really messed up. And then we got in Martin here, I think, what was it, October, November, to try and make sense of all the missing receipts and all the missing cash back when we had cash, and all the money that was stolen about a year ago from like the safe. Like the whole safe was stolen. Like it was like a lot of money that disappeared, and making sense of what money disappeared and could there be done anything about getting those money back, and insurances and insurance money and all those kind of things. Um, but yeah, having 2 months without an accountant, it makes us completely blind to how it's actually going. Like, how bad is the situation, or how good is the situation? Has it improved or hasn't it? So that meant that I had to sort of like manage this Café Retro blindly, economically, or at least close to blindly. And in my mind, I told myself that, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter if I can see the numbers or not. It's not going to change the fact that I can either make it better or I can make it worse. But if I can probably get some guidance to see that, oh, the coffee makes a lot of money, we should focus more on the coffee, or the beers are selling great, let's really try to promote the beers more, or when there's a music event, we make a lot of money. But I mean, I can still see those like small, deep, like small, uh, like sort of boxed instances. Like, yes, when we had a music event, we make more money. If it's a Friday night, we make more money. But at the same time, I also knew that it's not whether or not we make money one day or another that's going to make the difference. The difference is that we need to have a place where people feel engaged, and they feel that they can act, and that they have agency, that they have possibilities to do a difference. Which is why I really tried to sort of encourage all of you to act, and to say that if you want to make an event, and like, come to me, ask me. Like, I've really tried to sort of say again and again to many of the meetings, and to the training, to the master trainings. Hey, tell the people, like, ask me if you want to do something. Ask how, like, ask me anything. Just, if you want to do some kind of event, or if you have some kind of questions, or whatever, like, come to me and ask me. I can't answer all your questions. I can't help you with everything. But if you ask me, I can give you directions. And some people did. And some people came to me and they asked me, and they did events. Like, Sarah did the Slovakian night, and she asked a little bit about how they did with the Lithuanian night. And I put her to some of the people that did that. And that evening, it was great. There was like, and Sarah did a great job at sort of dressing up the cafe nicely. And I think she put her own money into it, because frankly, we don't have any money to give to that kind of stuff, which is so frustrating. It's like, you want to, yeah, you want to keep people engaged, but you don't want to give them any money. That's difficult. Same thing has been with Martin from the music team. Um, that I mean, you've been doing a great job, and the music team in general has been doing an awesome job at sort of like getting bands every fucking weekend, and hosting them, and getting interesting people without any budget. Like, yeah, we gave them some money for the trip home. We gave them some free beers, um, but that was it. We couldn't do anything, and like, for a long time we struggled just to buy the music equipment from when I started. Like, we had all this money from the Tuborg Foundation, like 50,000 kroner to buy new music equipment, and we just weren't able to pay it, because we didn't even have the cash, or like the validity to actually go out and buy the stuff. So we secured that validity in about December, which was the last month to do it. And I think we actually borrowed some money to actually have validity enough to buy stuff, so we can get the money back from the foundation, and that whole circus. I was not directly involved in that, because, yeah, I mean, my main task for Retro has, or at least my main objective that I've been trying to work with, is get new volunteers in, take care of volunteers, try to ignite people, and then try to excite them about being at Retro, coming to their job. I was so happy when sort of Esme came, and she had all this energy about a coffee team and training coffee, and she helped rekindle the flames in Philip, and she helped train up Gustav to do more trainings. We had Martina from Narbo coming over and help us really improve the coffee situation, and we got the coffee today at Retro is amazing compared to when I started in August. And that's thanks to all of you who took the time to go to the trainings, but especially to someone like Esme who just took it upon herself to really do something about the situation. We had trainings, we had training missions like the normal training shift that you go to a shift with someone. We had to rethink that when we changed the bar, and that's where some people, especially Anna, comes to mind, who's been taking charge of the trainings and taking charge of that whole task about thinking about what should we tell people about, what shouldn't we tell people about. And there's been a lot of people involved in that. Most of the trainers, we've been having some new people, like someone like Andrea, who stepped up and helped train someone together with Joachim, and then we said, oh, you can be a trainer as well, and that's it's that kind of engagement, that kind of motivation, that kind of initiative to step up and just be part of something and do something about it. That's what I really try to spot that, and I try to tell those people you're doing an awesome job, and try to sort of like help them, fuel them to go even further with it. And that's been fairly successful. Like there's so much stuff today that is so much better than when we started. Like the first day I came in Café Retro, everything was a mess. Like it was a complete mess because there's been a renovation, and there was just like rubbles everywhere, building materials, stuff crashed down. It was crazy. It was crashed. It was fucked. It was nothing. And Peter looked at me and said, yeah, so we have to open on Thursday. It was like 4 days from now. And it was basically just me, Peter, and Daniel that was there 4 days, cleaning stuff, driving stuff to the recycling station, um, trying to fix the lamps, trying to make stuff work, trying to sort of get a cash register to work, and testing the coffee machine, like all that kind of stuff. And I knew nothing about it, making like I had no prior cafe management experience at all. Like I had done a lot of volunteer projects, done a lot of volunteer experiments. Like I had a lot of experience with that, but I had no like how to use a coffee machine. Like I had to learn that during August, during the first few days, and that's where Jens, who was part of the Sudan team, had trained me and was like, doing a great job there. And when we finally like took a couple of days where we did nothing but just making coffee with me, and that was awesome. And that was just so great. And he was also one of the people who helped ask me sort of like take that whole thing with the coffee chain to the next level, and that was awesome, and it was great. But it was such like at the same time as I was trying to make the inner city up and functioning again, we had Jens who was just suffering in Sydhavn because we had these people that we had to work with there who just basically didn't want us to start a cafe, and there was like one hindrance after the other, and it was just ugh. and and I can guess that. I mean, I can't even imagine how angry Jens must have been, or still probably is on everything because of that. Like spending a year on trying to make a cafe open and work, and then getting nothing in return. Like it never opened, and it never will. At least not as retro. And yeah, what happiness there? Like also mentioning Daniel at and sometimes in this reason, like can I emphasize enough how like how much work Daniel has put into retro? Like you all know that. You all know that Daniel's there all the time. Like he's like every time you say, "Oh, there's something with milk," he goes down from his apartment. He's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go leave whatever I'm doing, leave for half an hour, fix something, fix the beer taps, fix the washing machine, fix them, like get some milk, like whatever you need. He's there and he's fixing stuff, and it's again and again and again and again and again. And at the same time, he's also booking music, he's hosting music, he's yeah, like training music team members to become good hosts. And whenever I had troubles with figuring out music stuff, he was ready, he was there, and he was amazing. And like I remember having like I think after a few weeks of being in Retro, I had this talk with Peter, and it was like, we knew already there, like I knew there that this place is not gonna work without Daniel, and it seemed like Daniel actually outlasted Retro, and that's quite a feature with all the stuff that he's been doing. And yeah, we have someone like Amir who's just been complaining a lot, but also doing a massive job on the Facebook, doing a massive job on trying to push people, trying to make visibility about events, trying to have a consistency on information, and reminding people on doing different stuff. Um, Taking a few shifts as well, at least nowadays. I think it did a lot more back when we started in August, or when I started in August. And Felicia, oh my God, like constant struggle for you to try and make sense of the PR team, trying to always get in new people, because the people were there for a month and then they didn't really want to do it anyway, and this whole back and forth, and trying to make information about Retro, trying to get us in all these magazines and all these articles and blogs and everywhere, and trying to get all your friends, like your friends, what you told me about, that your friends didn't want to go out with you because you always said, let's go to Retro, right? And that's the kind of dedication and the kind of mentality that if everyone brought all their friends, and they had a million friends, and they brought them all to Retro, then we would have enough people there. But we just we're not all able to do it. Like, I've been trying to drag my friends to Retro, mostly unsuccessfully. Like, it's difficult because we have a lot of stuff to do as well, and when are we supposed to be there, and when our friends supposed to be there as well. It's, yeah. Yeah. Alex, the manager before me, was helping me get introduced on how to do things at Retro, as well as she was running both Retro and Nørrebro Cafe at the same time as manager. Like, how insane is that? How how fucked? Like, that's crazy. Like, I can't even imagine. And at the same time, she was like, and that was also when she was sort of training me and showing me all the ropes about how to get people to do stuff, and how to get the schedule working, and how to Facebook and all groups and all the everything. And she was a really great inspiration, and a great mentor in getting into the whole manager position, and that I'm very thankful about. We have someone like Jacob, the chairman of Retro, who's just been like so vigilant up until the end, like a fierceful beast trying to struggle for survival. Like, it's the amount of stuff he engaged himself in after the General Assembly, I think, like, and when Mille stopped taking over her position, like her operation manager position, and at the same time doing so much with trying to figure out economy stuff and sales, and trying to talk with all our sales partners and getting better deals, and going past Retro and going past Retro and Apple, trying to help our places up, trying to fix the machinery, sawing stuff, maintenance stuff, working with the beer types, trying to get in new beers that were cheaper, so we could sell more. Like, yeah, Jacob was one of the people who really knew how bad it was, and I think a lot of people who knew that sort of gave up on Retro, but Jacob really didn't. Jacob, he stood fast, and he fought. And I think a lot of people will be probably angry at Jacob and angry at the board, and they were as well after the General Assembly. And I mean, I guess after the General Assembly, I was also like, yeah, I haven't gotten that much support from the board when I started. It was mostly Peter and Daniel and Alex that helped me sort of understand the whole situation, and the board was a little bit absent. Um, but after the General Assembly, there was a lot of people who were really angry about the board, and at the General Assembly, and then that kind of like fueled the board to engage themselves some more. But Jacob has been the number one fighter for retro, that's for sure, when it comes to the board members. And we have someone like Vlad. You all know Vlad, the party head, the weed smoker, the troublemaker, the party starter. Oh my God. I remember when I started the retro, and I could just see from the beginning that Vlad, he was one of the people who got people in. He was one of the people who I had to look out for because he was trouble. I mean, I knew he was trouble, but also he was energy and he was motivation and he brought people in. And damn you for starting your own shop. Like, we all feel your absence from retro, that's for sure. Like, the lack of you not being there and writing in all the groups and then pushing people and writing people personally and calling people and being like having the most volunteers in your team, like 16 volunteers or more, like, and always being the first one to write back to me and say, yeah, I can take more volunteers. That's, yeah, that's really been that's really been great. That's been amazing. That's been so good. Going through all the team leaders, like Gitze, always being the one that went out to party with people in the middle of the night. And I went with that part, like I guess one of those parties as well. We got to this disco, and that was the first time that I was really out until early morning with someone from Retro. And I guess it's like been the only real time I've been that, actually. But it's also been one of the only times that I've been to a party all night in a long time, except from New Year's, I guess. New Year's as well. But I mean, I guess like New Year's is also one of those situations where there was a lot of issues, like, and it was where a lot of those issues became clear because I tried to just really like put out the engagement, say who wanna make the New Year's party, who be in charge of this, and I think Martin really stepped up and tried to lead it, and that was awesome. But it was like there was not that many people who were engaged in trying to make it a great party. And then when we proposed to say that, oh, there's an entry fee, I think it was like 250 kroner entry fee, which is, yeah, it's a lot of money, but that was what gave you like free bar with a party and champagne and all the galoreness. And that was something that a lot of people got scared off by, and they got angry about it. And there was all these like, oh, you're trying to use the volunteers, 250 kroner, you're gonna exclude people. Yeah, I mean, I guess we are like, the quest here is to give ourselves and give our money and give our time for someone else. And the unwillingness to make that sacrifice New Year's Eve to 250 kroner, not being able to find that somewhere in your budget, that was quite telling. And that was where like I really understood that we are in a difficult spot when people are not willing to find those money for that one evening. Because it was not about if you got your money back. It was about if we want to make this organization where it's about giving to Sierra Leone or giving to Kigali, the Rwanda project, or just giving the community in general, we need to be able to find some money as well to pay for our own beers, like to pay for our own party. And there just wasn't. Like, people expected that party would be free, and then we had to make it free because we didn't want to make everybody angry. But like, I think for a lot of people that should be a clear indication that things are not going great. If we can't give you a free New Year's party, like, why can't we pay for your New Year's party? It's because we don't make enough money, and we haven't been making enough money for years. And that's been horrible. Like all these small groups that we have, like I guess one of the reasons it's difficult to be an event team and the PR team and all those groups is that you have to invent stuff without having a budget. Like it's not like I came to people like every time they said, "Oh, I want to make an event." Oh yeah, here's like 2,000 krona budget. Do something cool because I wanted to do that, but where was the money? They just weren't there. And I hate talking about money because we are here for something bigger than that. We're here for community and going beyond monetary exchange. This is about, this is volunteering. This is about me and you and us and giving and sharing. Sharing is caring, and boy, do I wish that we would be better and that we could have gone further. But we couldn't, and that's why we're here today. We have to realize that it wasn't good enough, at least not anymore. But that doesn't mean that we have to forget about retro. That doesn't mean that we have to say that retro is bad. Retro is great, and retro was great, and we need to sort of focus on the fact that we went this far. We kept it alive, we kept it going, and we made it to a place where every time I'm at retro, there is someone new there, and I just, in a conversation, I hear they say, "Oh, this place is wonderful. I've never been here before. It's such a cool place." I have that so much. And once every second month, I get an email with a complaint. But I get so many people coming to me and saying it's an amazing place. And that is something that we created. That's something that we maintained. And that is so important and it's so valuable. And I think that's also what was so difficult. It was the maintaining of cozy and relaxed and welcoming atmosphere. That's so difficult. It's one of the biggest problems that Denmark as a country has today. That there's been built this wonderful small little country where we try to look out for each other, we try to respect each other, we try to reflect on our decisions and our choices in life. And we are not able to maintain that. We wanna strip immigrants when they cross the border for their like possessions. We wanna exclude people going into our countries. We wanna throw people out if they get a divorce with a Dane. They need to be thrown out the next day. Like, we have so many people voting for nationalist parties to rise up because of the fear of the immigrants, the zombies coming to kill us all. Like that kind of bullshit that is just tearing us up from the inside. And that is the lack of maintenance. Because maintenance is difficult. And maintenance is not, it's not cool, it's not sexy, it's not the shit to maintain something. It's a shit to create. It's a shit to do stuff and be the ones who make the big changes. But maintaining something consistent and valuable, that is difficult. And it was too difficult for us. And that hurts. That hurts to realize. It really, really, really hurts. I mean, I think a lot of you who watches this video and a lot of you who are probably angry and crying and sad and frustrated because we weren't able to make this work. Is it because we're bad people? The answer is no. Of course we're not bad people. We are great people because we tried and we made a difference. And we need to keep to grasp on to that and remember that we stood there and we tried to maintain something good in this world. We live in a place where Trump and Brexit and, yeah, I want to say Marie Le Pen, but at least today, Marie Le Pen was denied becoming the president of France. We took a step, or at least the French took a stand against fascism and nationalism. And that's fucking awesome. But it's difficult to celebrate it when you realize that Retro has to stop. Retro has to close. Because we were not able to make it viable, to sustain it, to maintain its economical integrity. And I guess that maybe if we had funding from some sort, like most of the other volunteer-run cafes has. There's like Studenterhuset who gets a lot of their rent paid by the university. Minimum, some of those other volunteer places that are part of big organizations, the Red Cross place, and Mellemfolk Samvirke space, where they're part of a huge ass organization who has a big network and a big reach to get stuff done and call in volunteers from everywhere to make a difference. Retro is not that. We are a small but significant bunch. We stood on our own legs and pulled the weight. There was no one dragging us up. There was no one lifting up our backs. We did it all ourselves. And we did it even though we are people from I don't know how many countries. 20? Speaking how many different languages? All coming together and speaking English, even though most of us has it as a second or maybe even third language. But still, we carry on, we carry strong, we stand strong like the beautiful people that are in Retro. And I would love to mention every single one of you. I've mentioned a couple of you already. Because you are all very special to me. Someone like Jana and Anna, who are like, 15 or 16, and they just came and said, we want to volunteer for Retro for like a year or something like that. And I said, but you can't be in the bar. Like what can you do? And they were like, yeah, we don't know. We just want to do something. And I just let them in, and they tried out some different stuff. Maybe they could do an event. Maybe they could do some art stuff. Maybe they could, whatever, PR, something. And they made the cool volunteer wall, and it sadly quite quickly got wrecked down and destroyed, and tried to rebuild it, tried to make it good again, and up and down, and it went. But they were there. They helped painting. They helped make a good atmosphere. They came to all the Monday meetings every month, and I think the one that they weren't there, they wrote, "Oh, can you give an update about what happened?" Because they weren't there, and that was great, and that was awesome, and they were consistent, and I think that was really, really appreciable. And I think like a week ago I signed the papers that they have been here and they've done a difference. And I guess you're soon gonna be on your way back, or maybe you already left back to, what was it? The UK that you were studying? Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. What has it been? Like, what are we now? Like 70 volunteers? 50 volunteers? I don't know. Because people come in and out and not everybody tells me about it. And I try to keep track on all of you. And I also work in that other organization now, the Fødevarefællesskabet, where there's 2,000 volunteers. And I'm the only coordinator there. I have so many faces, so many names that I have to remember, and I tried to remember all of you because I know that it means something. It means something to be recognized. It means something to be seen. And whenever I'm at the cafe, I try really hard to remember your name and say you're awesome, because you are. Even though I might not remember your name, I remember your face. And I remember that you've been here for a long time and done your duty. Maybe you weren't able to take all 3 shifts every month, but you did your part and you fought alongside everyone else. But it still doesn't change the fact that things has gone to shit. And the only responsible thing is to stop now, where we're at least not at the bottom, but we are going towards it. But let's stop now. Let's take a break, and maybe in a year from now we can build something new. We're still going to be doing the Roskilde Festival volunteer team, and there's still a few spots. So if you want to join that, please contact me, because that would be great to be so many people there as we possibly can from Retro, having one last great, awesome party for a whole week while working together as a group. I would really like that, and I hope that you would like it as well. So yeah. What can I say? I'm getting too old for this shit. And I hope that some of you out there will take over and will go out there and make a difference in the world. Because I'm sure that some of you will. I'm sure that some of you are going to be those people who's gonna write those manuals on how to do volunteer work, who's gonna go out and do political activism to make sure to stop the spread of these racist ideologies that are spreading all over Europe. That you're gonna fight against someone like Donald Trump and his horrible sexism, and remind people of the climate that we still have to save, because if we don't, it's not going to hurt the planet. The planet's going to do fine. But the people, we're going away, folks. And our kids will as well if we don't do anything about the climate. And the difference might be done by you just simply buying organic food, but if you can also get your neighbor to do it, and if you can also, I don't know, read up on it, like with so much other. Read, and read, and read again. Do your studies, finish your thesis, and get informed, and inform others, because we are in a time where there's so much misinformation. And we've had the same problems at Retro, the lack of decent communication. And a big part of that is probably by using Facebook, because there's so much news that I put up on Facebook that just, it disappears in the flow of new information that spreads in. And it means that a lot of the stuff that has been written there and said there is gone now, and you will not go back and check and find out what we talked about in December, what happened in October, like those kind of things. It's only in some people's mind, and if they don't share that information, it gets lost. And I can't be the one to tell all of you, especially because if I did this video 2 months ago, I'm afraid that there would have been a shitstorm. Like, there's probably going to be a shitstorm now of people saying, oh, well, we should do this, that, and you're a fucking idiot, and Charles, why are you the manager, and it should have been someone else. And maybe someone else could have done a better job. Maybe. But we don't know, and we will never know. We only have forward. We have forward that we can go and that we can think, and then we just have to treasure the good things that happened in the past and be happy about them. enjoy the times that we had at Retro and that we had together, and look forward to a time where we have more friendships, more friends, more people that we met at Retro, more understanding of culture, because that's something that happens when you go to Retro, that you get to meet people from other countries, other places, other cultures, and you get better understanding, and that's so freaking important. Even though it might seem ridiculous, even though it might seem silly, this is one of the things that is important. Um, to again to grasp that we are in this boat together, all of us, and with this boat I mean this world, and we can't build walls. It's not just that it's stupid, but it's not gonna work. Like if you build like think of America. If you build a wall towards Mexico, like they can dig underneath it. They can sail around it. They can fly over it. They can. I mean, who are we trying to kid? Like it's not like the Great Wall in China. And I mean, how well did that work? Even it was like the biggest construction ever. It can be seen from the fucking moon. Did it work? It didn't. Let's look back at history and see what these walls do. They only break empires. They don't make them stronger. What makes things stronger is bridges, and that's something that we've been good at Denmark, building bridges to other countries and to other parts of our own country, trying to decrease the gap between us and not increase it. And that's what we need to go out and advocate for. Because Retro is going to end, but our mission to go and make the world a place where people can be together, that mission doesn't end here. That's only just begun. Because now with our Retro, it's more important than before. And a big step in that mission is to listen and to give and to trust. Even though it's difficult, we need to do all those three things and more. And you probably have great ideas as well on what to do. And I think the best thing about your ideas, or the best of your ideas, is the ones that you're gonna do. And all those great ideas you had about how to make Retro a better place, well, did you do them? Did somebody else do them? Some of them maybe, a lot of them not. And hopefully you've learned something from that. Hopefully you've learned that a good idea is worth nothing if it's not done. Now, a good idea poorly executed is still a good idea executed. Now, a great idea never executed, well, it's just a great idea. It doesn't make a difference. Anyways, I've been rambling a lot, and I've been rambling enough, I guess. And I'm not sure if any of you are still following at this point, and I guess I could tell you a little bit more about what happened in this long time. When I talk for this long, I get into these political ramblings, and I'm sorry about that. You should know that I love you all. I really do. And like one of the most amazing things about coming into Retro has been this warmth and this welcoming and this great atmosphere of people hugging each other and welcoming each other and being interested in each other. And that doesn't have to die with Retro. You can bring that elsewhere, and I hope you do, and I hope that it is already elsewhere, and I hope that I will meet you all again, and that we can keep on being welcoming and like all the people who wrote to become volunteers for Retro, all of you, like I was so blown away about the stuff that you sent me. Like people, some of you, you send your CVs, you send motivated applications for working for free in a cafe. Like that has going to be one heck of a cafe for people to want to do that. And like the other place I work, like it's there, it's like 3 hours a month that people have to work. At Retro, it's what, four, 5 times that? It's like 16 hours or more. Like it's, yeah, three times, it's 18. It's 3 times 6. It's usually 6 hours for a shift, and it's 3 shifts, so it's 18 hours. It's nearly an entire, like it's an entire awake day once a month that you have to sacrifice or to give to be part of Retro. And some of you, someone like Joachim does like what, 8 shifts a week? That's or not like a month? Yeah, not a week. Oh, that would be crazy though. 2 shifts a week. And yeah, someone like Gustav, who has been really dedicated recently and really doing a lot to fight for keeping open. And you came up to me and said this and that, and could we do this and could we do that? And I was like, just do it. Just do it. I'm not gonna stop you, but there's so many things that I have to do that I can't carry it all. Um, there's a lack of an event team, and all the events usually end up at my mail, and I have to book everything, or like not everything, but I have to book a lot of stuff. And when Amir said that, oh, he wanted to change the music team, I had to log a lot of the Facebook group. And Martin from the accounting, I know, has also been helping a lot with that, but there's just too many tasks, and there's not enough hours in the day. I have 15 hours a week for Retro that I'm paid for. There's probably been some weeks where I've been working less than 15 hours, but it's not been a lot. It's mostly been twice that. And every morning, more or less every morning I wake up, I check the email, and maybe every second day I look at the schedule. And right now it's really bad. There's 2 days for the next 4 weeks that is covered. There's what, 20 days that isn't. That has a few shifts covered and a few shifts that isn't. And that's just not good enough. Because that means that I have to spend so much time on trying to motivate you to go to shifts, recruit new people, remind you to take your shifts. And on top of that, there's people who, you get sick, you don't show up for your shift, you forget about them, there's one thing, the other. If it was only that, but when it's that, and also people not taking shifts at all, because maybe they haven't been trained yet, or maybe they don't feel like Retro anyway. Maybe we needed more volunteers. But every time I talk with people, it's like, oh, there's so many new people all the time. And it's just, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. And I guess I failed. I failed to do what was necessary. Maybe I failed demanding enough of you, but I also feared that if I demanded too much, you would just stop. Because a lot of people stopped. And some of them stopped because they had to go away, because they had finished their semester. A lot of you, maybe seeing this video, has to leave in July, and you're not going to go back to Retro and buy a cup of coffee. You're not going to go back and buy a beer every second week. And I think this is also one of the big issues that Retro has, that by being so international and by having people who comes to Retro and works for half a year and is part of that community and then goes completely away. While I think it's amazing to get so many people in, it's also difficult because a lot of the customers in the old days used to be old volunteers. And a lot of our customers actually is. But if all our volunteers had been living in Denmark after Retro, maybe they would have been kept buying stuff and coming by and then buying at a full price, not at the 40% discount. And you might feel out there that you've bought a lot of stuff for Retro, but at the 40% discount, there's basically nothing left for Retro. Like, because we still have to pay taxes, we still have to pay for the beer, we still have to pay for the rent and all that kind of stuff. Just like there's nothing left. I mean, you get those 40% discount, and maybe that was too much. Maybe we should have 0 discount. But would you have come if there was 7 discount? Would you have worked for Retro? Would you have kept on fighting? I don't know. We can keep speculating on what we did wrong and what we could do better, but fact is that we did an awesome job. We did an amazing difference in this world. We helped a lot of people in Sierra Leone, and we're helping a lot of people at least soon, and some people in right now in Rwanda, and we are helping more. Maybe not as much as we could. And we're helping a lot of each other by having a place to go. A lot of the people in Retro didn't have that many friends before they went there, before they went here and got part of this community. And that's important as well. And I hope that you will stay friends. And I hope that all of you will find another cafe to hang out in and be friends. And I'm sure that I'm going to talk with a lot of you still and keep talking with you. I'm going to delete my Facebook account, the old one, but you can apply for my new real one. But the work Retro account, it's a bit confusing having 2 Facebook accounts. It's a bit split personality stuff, and yeah. Frankly, I'm also a little bit relieved about the whole thing. Probably gonna get some more sleep now, and only have to look at one Facebook and one less email account, and that's gonna be good. And yeah, fuck this shit. Don't give up. This might seem like the end. Retro might have meant everything to you, and I'm sorry that we didn't make it work. But it's not the end. There's gonna be something beyond Retro. I guess for a lot of you, it's not gonna mean that much. I mean, Retro was a nice place, but you can go to another cafe, you can find another volunteer job, and I hope you will. I hope you will keep volunteering and keep finding a place. You will realize that it's not always as easy as it seems. And sometimes you have to fight for what you love. And sometimes, even though you fight, what you love has to end. I guess it's a bit like a relationship with someone that at some point it just seems like you've grown apart, and nothing you can do can change that problem. And Chimes has definitely grown from Retro. And that sucks. That really sucks. This video has been going on for an hour now, and I'm gonna end it because if I do it any longer, there's probably no one else going to be watching. But I'm sorry that I didn't tell you all this stuff earlier, but I had to believe that if we kept a positive mindset, we could turn things around. But we couldn't. Not enough, at least. But I think we should focus on still being able to make a place that was important for a lot of people. And no matter how much this sucks, the reason it sucks is because it mattered. Don't forget that. Thank you so much for listening. This has been quite a ride. Good night. And vive la France, and vive la no more fucking Marie Le Pen and election drama. Do you hear the people sing? I think I fucking do. Good night.